All right, man, peace. So, over the last couple of weeks, or should I say since last week, it's been a lot of these debates, many topics about masculinity, and especially about masculinity dying in America, which has been prone to be a conversation ever since the clip of Anthony Mackie came forward as he promotes the newest movie he's involved in. And what did I see online, which makes it such an adversity argument, is that a lot of the times when it's a man that speaks out about masculinity or preserving the male culture or preserving manliness in the society, a lot of the times they love to use movies where it seems as if him as an actor is in a compromising position by, I guess, the clips that I saw on Instagram and a couple of other social media sites where they have a picture of Anthony Mackie allegedly kissing a guy in the movie. Now, I know of Anthony Mackie. A lot of people know of the actor Anthony Mackie as being one of the rappers in 8 Mile with Eminem back in 2002, where he was supposed to be Eminem's opponent for the rap battle. And, that time Eminem telling his story and stuff like that. And then also Anthony Mackie playing as Tupac and the movie Biggie back in 2009, which is also brought upon by this brother. I forgot his name, but his rap name used to be Gravy, and he's straight out of Brooklyn, which is he's going to be a future topic for a conversation I'm going to have on his channel. But going back to Anthony Mackie, I had found it a good thing that Anthony Mackie wanted to talk about the nature of manliness in the society and how masculinity has slowly died in our society for over the last 20 years. Now, there are studies to back this up, and also the attitudes of men in the society is starting to change, and which I believe a lot of men are starting to become more fluid and start to go with the whimsical nature of the modern day woman. So I think it was good for him to take a stance on what was going on, what was his beliefs, and teaching his young sons to be manly and try to lead the household as they're supposed to, as young boys turn to men, and especially young boys knowing what they're supposed to do in a society and to be stern, diplomatic, and all these different things so that it can turn out to be a great man for the future, leading a family, providing for the family, leading himself, having a business, and so on and so forth. Or even being that guy that works a 9 to 5, but still being able to take care of business and never to let society make him forget who he is. Because this world is cold. And if it's getting cold, it's getting colder. So we're going to review this clip of Anthony Mackie and what is it that he said that set the whole entire social media ablaze. So let's check it out, y'all. Pete.
They had to bring out a tray for all my shit, right? So I'm talking to my son, hooking up his candy. I hear my voice. Like, oh shit. So I'm looking at my kids like, so I don't say nothing. My oldest son's on his phone. My second son's knee deep in these fucking gummy worms, right? The two little ones are fighting and throwing popcorn at each other. So I'm like, bruh, look at the fucking screen. So everybody behind us go, oh my God, are you okay? Oh, they missed the whole trailer. Whole trailer. Like, what's wrong with you, Dad? Fuck it. But with Captain America is interesting because I try to keep my boys outside of it. Like, I don't want my boys affected by it or even acknowledge the idea of what Hollywood is and what it means to the general populace. Because I want.
Now, randomly, I just want to bring up this topic real quick about how a lot of people cannot separate the art from the individual. So when I had seen those clips come out and I seen those pictures of Anthony Mackie probably acting in one of the compromised position as being a fluid black man that kissed another fluid black man, I just thought to myself that has nothing to do with his conversation about masculinity. It's basically they try to pull out every card they can to basically say, well, you talk about being a man, right? You talk about being masculine, right? So why is it that you on here sitting here kissing another guy as an actor? And by all means, we understand how dirty Hollywood is and the compromising positions a lot of these male actors have to get into in order to make money. But I thought it was very much so a frivolous thing to do, especially with Anthony Mackie noticing that a lot of different things in society is not good, especially being the father of four sons. And them trying to say that basically he's gay or something like that just because he had that type of acting scene. It's ridiculous.
Want them to find their own path. And we're blessed. Like, we're put in a position where we can afford our kids the best. You know, we're in a position where our grandkids, our great grandkids will be provided for. You know, we weren't like that.
Generational
You
wealth.
know, I know on the West Bank you wasn't like that.
No doubt.
Yeah, y'all ate, Vienna sausages and poke and beans, you know?
I did, though.
That's what I'm saying. But
straight
that's
up.
real.
Yeah.
You know, that's where we came from. I keep my boys humble. Like, my boys have never had a pair of Jordans. You know, my boys don't do all that internet fly shit. I'm like, your kids. And no, I don't give a fuck. I could be the biggest star in the world. Do not let me catch you being stupid.
Now, to add to that point, my thought process when he said that is that the problem with a lot of these men in society, they're thinking backwards. So they're thinking about vanity over future generations, providing for your children or providing for yourself to make sure that you're a household name as you grow as a man. Now, though, of course, when we're talking from the so-called black community, one of the things they're very braggadocious about is making sure their sons or their daughters is in the hottest wear, the hottest sneakers, Jordans, which has always been the centerpiece of the so-called black community. In my opinion, I never found, which is a big deal because I've always thought of Jordans as one of those sneakers that's always been out there since the 80s. So all it's been is just retro sneakers being put out again and again and again, and people buy it like hotcakes. And the only thing that's different with these retro sneakers is that they have different colorways. But with that being said, in my opinion, especially towards black men, them understanding that what matters at the end of the day is being a survivor and being a man who's about business and being on his way pull to be the highest version of yourself. All that other shit is corny, and you don't need to worry about that. It's nothing. It's bad for a man to be caught up with the glam and the glitz, but he can't pay his bills. It's bad for a man to be with the glam and the glitz, and he's not out here being himself, or he's easily distracted by society or women. That's what we shouldn't be doing as men, especially if you have children. You understand what I'm saying? And I also told the fact, please be careful about the type of women that you decide to get with, because them bearing your children after 9 months and you think it's all right to have a baby mama you never got along with in the first place, something you have to think about.
Do not. And my oldest gets it. My 15-year-old, he tells the other ones, he's like, yo, don't make dad mad. Because once you get one that's right, he gonna straighten the other ones out. So it's just that thing of, in the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities for one reason or another. But I raised my boys to be young men. And however you feel about that, you feel about that. Right. But my boys will always be respectful. They will always say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. They will always say thank you. They will always open the door for a lady. They will always make sure that their mother is taken care and provided for. They will always be men. And
this is where the clip that a lot of people took, and you had a lot of detractors that sat there and wanted to say something to this. But he said nothing wrong, because it was up to him to say, this is how I'm going to teach my kids. He's not out here talking about to other men, this is how you should raise your kids. And the whole entire thing about the death of the masculinity or the death of the masculine male in society holds true to this day, where men do not know themselves. Men quickly think that they have to be raised off of social media and be taught masculinity from these no nonsense men that go online who's really spreading this nonsense about red pill and talking to men about how, men do this and men do that. And basically, this is off the whims of women's validation. That's one part of it. But at the same time, do we ever have those meetings of men being able to mentally put themselves in a state to be all right amongst each other, and being able to have meetings where we like trying to uplift one another with ourselves? Being able to say, hey, we men, we need to discuss what we need to discuss. And it's a beautiful thing that I see in my personal life with many people that I'm connected to, because they understand us as men, we need to have each other's back. especially when it comes to mental aspects of this society, because a lot of them will not tote men being able to have a safe space. And even with that being said, when a man says that he wants to have a safe space, or men decide they want to create having a safe space quickly, women want to say, "What about us?" And it starts to become a narcissistic value that has nothing to do with what the man is saying, because the woman wants to make it all about her. And the problem in this society is that they do not want strong masculine men, such as Anthony Mackie, teaching his young boys to be natural masculine men like him. Instead, they want him and his sons to be fluid, which is an argument I've always toted. But we'll see how things play out.
That's always since they were 2 years old. Every time I left for a job, you the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked every night, this alarm is on, you text me or you call me every night before you go to bed and you wake up.
I love that.
Because we're men. If I'm not there to protect, he got to be there to protect. Because you can have all the money in the world, motherfucker climb through the window, that money means nothing. Right. You can have all the celebrity in the world, motherfucker jump through the door, that celebrity means nothing. Yeah. So you got to have a little guard in there. You know.
And I think it's there's an honorable thing for Anthony Mackie to mention on that, especially with men that, need to protect their girlfriends, their wives, their sisters, their mothers, and all these different things. It's very important. We're not asking men if it would be advisable for men to take up some type of martial art training or, fighting skills to learn the essential things to protect yourself and protect the people around you when it comes down to things. And a lot of men do not follow that whole entire thing. The modern day man doesn't follow that. Of course, it's about men bulking up, going to the gym and making sure they're good and stuff like that. But fighting skills is also something that should be registered to the modern day man as in a way of protecting himself and protecting other people around him. And I see nothing that Anthony Mackie has said wrong. He said things absolutely correct and right. We have to bring that old school value to men, not sitting around on panels, sitting up there arguing with women, talking about a woman needs to be feminine, but yet you're spending your day sitting up there stalking a woman online and sitting up there arguing back and forth with her when she's already made her decision to do stupid things like have her OnlyFans and all this dumb shit. When will men realize that?
And so for me, it's always that idea of American masculinity is very different. You feel it when you go to Europe. Like you see these and you're like, could bust your ass, boy. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You go to Europe.
Tight ass pants.
Yeah, tight ass pants. Motherfucker, what's good, boy? You better lotion your ankle. Like you feel it when you go to Europe. Even when you, like I was just in Kenya and I was walking around, I'm like, yeah. Dude was like, you ain't from here. Like, nah. Like, yeah, I could tell. I know you can. I could tell I ain't from here. You know what I mean? It's just that American male masculinity is something I think is very important for boys. Because now our little boys are afraid to fail, so they don't try. You know what I mean? When we were kids, we did tackle drills. We would run face first into each other.
We just talked about it. Dudes don't even talk to a woman face to face.
They don't know how no more because, women they are so mean and so angry, bruh. I saw this.
Now, I usually get the joke that a lot of people talk about New York women are too hard to talk to, for instance. And about how New York women is your first battle to talk about women. But, getting back to a larger scale, men have given up in this society and men don't ask and men don't try. It's like a lot of men don't see the confidence they need to exude, whether it be towards a mate, a woman, or, being able to be that man to be astute, because men have their own language. That's true. Just like females have their own language. And the thing about it with men is when you go out, it's not about puffing your chest, but you could tell like when you in a situation where you feel a little bit more confident or you feel a little bit more bulky versus another man. Now he's talking about experiences about being out there in Europe versus being in America. And this is not about men trying to sit up there and chastise other men or try to come at men and be like, well, I'll beat you up if you're looking at me funny and this, that, and the third. But there's a certain code that men have towards each other that doesn't necessarily mean that they're trying to intimidate, but at the same time, like who you be type of thing. And then that man needs to answer back, who you be? And there's some type of respect angle that comes out of it. But those brothers, you would know what I'm talking about because it's something you just get. It's an unspoken rule.
My nephew was talking to this girl. Oh my God, dude, she just killed him. I mean, he was like, excuse me, how you doing? She goes, ugh. How do you come back from that? Yo, he just walked over to me. I gave him his beer. I was like, there you go, bro. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. Let's start over. Let's start.
And that's it, man. My message to this whole entire thing about the masculinity dying in America, which is a video I did before as a compilation. Men need to get back in order and stop worrying about the whimsical bullshit that a lot of the society is putting upon men. Men need to get back on their square and realize they need to have their boundaries set and their rules. Even if they fucked up before, they still have the opportunity to not fuck up again. And a lot of these men chase around the wrong things, the wrong type of circumstances, and wonder why their life is so fucked up. I think we need to get back to the point that men need to stand on principle. If there are certain things that a man is not permitted to talk about, he must not talk about it. If a man in dealings with a woman sets the rules and sets the tones of what he's looking for in a woman, and that's it. If he's not looking for a woman, if he's looking for a woman that don't have OnlyFans, the fuck is he wasting his time trying to argue with a woman that has OnlyFans? If he's looking for a woman to be respectful and feminine, he shall search for a woman to be feminine and looking to cater towards a man, and not just try to say that women are completely property and all this other stuff, because women add essential thing to a man's life. But the problem that we had as men is that we worry too much about the conversations that come from women instead of standing on our square and saying, this is what it's all about. And especially experiences that I've seen here on YouTube about these so-called red pill spaces where men only think that red pill is subjected to having conversations about relationships. Red pill was always supposed to be about awareness and so forth, about society at large, and men recognizing the type of simulation that we live in much more than not. We've lost our way and we need to come back, however it is, even if it takes a small grouping of men to do that. So otherwise than that, give me your thought process in the comment section. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Peace.